First time we're going to see groups C and D in a racing capacity this weekend. Karts rolling out from the pre-grid then, ahead of another 8-lap heat here in Italy. Let's have a look through the grid for qualifying heats for groups C and D.
It's Riley Cranham and Jos Mulder starting on row 1, Zach Green and Selminier on row number 2. Kenzo Craigie and Jesse Phillips round out row 3 with Griad Badaldi and Toby Gale on row 4. Arthur Didonka and Stid Redemaker go from row 5, from Bergenyu and Nilis Malik on row 6. Moritz Moore and Federico Svardelity round out row number 7.
Javier Barasca made the final last time out. Starts this one from row number 8 alongside Max Murray. Nat Johnston and Matteo Peruccio start on row number 9. David Minchuna and Rock Pinera start on row 10. Jacob Backler and Flavio Cara start on row 11. Ella Hakkinen and Elias Lemon start on row 12. The 25 kart field is completed by Luigi Cocchianella. All 25 drivers due out on circuit are out on circuit. We are glad to report for this second half of the field here this weekend for X30 Junior. 51 drivers in total. If you're just joining us, we've already seen groups A and B out on circuit. So still early stages of the qualifying heats process here this weekend, but it's Mackie with a win, 0 points so far. Buckley 2 points, Lindblom 3 points, Papa Philippou 4, Archie Owen on 5. That's all about to change with this next race. All of these drivers, first race for them of the weekend.
Certainly is. Well, for Cranham and Mulder, this is going to be an exciting one. The inside line always works better here in through turn number 1. You can sweep it to the outside as well, and you can really put a nice block pass on it. If you're on the outside, if you can hold it round the outside of turn 1, you might get a good getaway. Here we go then. Are we going racing? The answer to that is new. It is a false start, second false start of the day.
Yes, so we'll go round for an extra formation lap. There is race director Martin Bean, ably assisted this weekend as well by Pasquale Lupoli.
Clerk of the course this weekend.
Clerk of the course, very experienced official of course, especially here in Italy, working with the ACI as well. But for Riley Cranham, a bit more time to get composed ahead of this one. Was one of those 6 drivers to get a qualifying heat win last time out. But plenty of other drivers who did it as well. Craigie took a win. Barasca took a race victory as well. That was in Zuera for round number 1. So plenty of talent on this grid. Arguably, in terms of the form book, this is the stronger half. So it could be a key race for all of these drivers.
Certainly could be. Back into the tram lines we go then. Are we going this time around? Yes, we are. Down in towards turn 1. Great start for the inside row. Keep an eye on Jos Mulder. He's there on the outside. He's there in P4. He holds on to P4. There's one of the carts off in the background. Looked like a Gillard that went wide. That possibly could have been Rock Pinera for the Auto Club team. It would make sense. They all run the Gillard chassis. We're side by side there for second place, but it's Zach Green up into P2.
Yeah, Zach Green and Kenzo Craigie both having great starts there, using the advantage of sitting on the inside. So it's the top 3 rows on the pole side, first, second and third in the early stages of this one. They all run through turn 11 and 12 down towards turn 14 for the first time in this one. Cranham checks over his shoulder, sees he doesn't need to defend through the hairpin on this first lap, and at the moment it's going to be a United Kingdom 1, 2, 3 at the moment at the end of lap 1. Cranham from Green, Craigie, Guido Badoli's had a good start, is up to 4th place. Arthur Didonka is down the inside. That is Senna Mounier on the move. The Belgian gaining a spot there, down into turn 5. Defensive work from Guido Badoli there, and it's worked. It's fended off the likes of the 126 of Jesse Phillips. Very strong run here last year. Of course, Jesse Phillips on his way to great success in the minis. What can he do here? Well, he's wrestled his way through past Badoli's losing positions hand over fist right now. This is a tough moment for the driver there in the Italian entered Zanchi.
It certainly is. Well, again, back down in towards turn 14 we go, and Cranham hasn't broken away as much as I think he'd like here. Green and Craigie still there first and second. but Craigie fading away there as they go down the back straight, closes back into the braking zone here, but he had no exit speed out of turn 15 there, maybe nursing a slight issue. Senna Munier, unfortunately, seeing a warning flag. That's going to come with a 5-second in-race time penalty, or 5-second in-race time penalty, I should say. Yeah, that's not going to be well received, but Kenzo Craigie, despite my concerns there with the gap, he's just set the fastest lap of the race, so clearly all is well as he hunts down these two ahead. Zach Green continuously putting on the pressure to Riley Cranham, but at the moment, not going for the move.
Not at the moment, sitting there in second place, and I think that's a good decision because they're both aware of the pace of the Mercedes-AMG junior driver. There is the black and white flag for Senna Munier, which will be received now. The Belgian in fourth place. So still the same order up front. I will say, though, I agree with your assessment of Craigie through sector number 3. He's lost a little bit again through that part of the circuit. Zach Green now the holder of the fastest lap of the race at 50.832.
Well, we'll keep an eye on these gaps and see what happens. But I think, crucially, it's because Cranham and Green are not fighting. Now, Cranham keeps looking behind him, and he's expecting to see a communication from Green, but Green's not giving him anything. Green's not saying, you keep going, don't worry about me, I'm not going to attack or anything like that. Keeping his cards very close to his chest at the moment. And usually you see a lot of communication between the drivers. You're not seeing that right now, which is unusual. So Cranham still leads again across the line. Green, Craigie, Munier down the inside, nicely done, and that's exactly what Green was wanting. The element of surprise. He even surprised you.
He did. That was a spectacular overtake from Zach Green. Jesse Phillips now the fastest driver out there on a 50.543. It's just keeping an eye on these sector times as well. I know I keep harping on about this and the nature of Franciacorta and setup-wise. Craigie is very strong in sector number 2. The tight and twisty bit, the technical bit where you need the balance, you need the response, particularly on the front end of the kart. He is quicker than Green and Cranham through that sector, but again, it's at a cost potentially of pace through the flat-out parts through sector number 3. Now he's a bit closer. He might be able to reverse the effects of reverse down the inside from Cranham. Another great move into turn number 2. Cranham back into the lead.
Yeah, and that was just that little sweep to the left a little bit before the right, sent it down the inside. Now they've gone defensive. Craigie's close right back in. Might have had an opportunity to go for second place there, but the gap just didn't exist. He wasn't able to get the switchback that he was wanting. Keep an eye, though, because Senna Munier is still closing in. Granted, has that in-race 5-second time penalty, will drop down, but is probably the most feared driver in this one because wants to get the position. Big late lunge from Green down the inside of turn 14, gets it done, but not able, again, for Craigie to go for the move. Watch them as they cross the line. Look at this, 1, 2, 3, and 4. How close do you want to be? Cranham's going to try and do the move again. Not this time. Craigie to the inside, up into P2. This could release Green now. Green needs to break away if he can, because we know that Craigie's got the pace, but he's not got the outright pace as well for the drivers behind.
Well, these three drivers know each other very well. The switchback, the classic out of turn 5 switchback there. Craigie was defensive down the inside. Cranham got the better run through and out of the traction zone. Zach Green continues to lead this one now. What kind of pace has he got out of 12? Flat through turn 13. Down towards 14. He's got a gap. He won't need to defend right now. There's a warning flag, and with it, a plus 5-second penalty for Nilas Malik, who's currently up in 6th place on the road. So we'll drop down from there, you'd think. Great drive from Jacob Bachler as well. Up 14 in this one at the moment to 7th place. Meanwhile, at the front of the order, another move down the inside. Here goes Cranham. Lovely stuff. Takes the lead from Green. Green side by side with Craigie. Good positioning by Green. Not allowing a cut through there from Craigie. Senna Munier still there as well in P4, knowing he needs to get up the road as much as possible. I'd let him go if you're Kenzo Craigie. Yes, I think that's a sensible decision there. Could have turned in and fought that one really hard, but knowing he's not going to lose the position once Mounier's plus 5 second penalty comes into play.
Toby Gale closing in as well, and the BMR team are here. The driver from Thailand really pushing strong on this last lap, but it is the last lap, and I think it's going to be all she wrote here. But here, a last-ditch attempt for Craigie down the inside. There's a bit of contact between the two of them, but Craigie gets through. Cranham takes the win ahead of Zach Green. Kenzo Craigie holds on to third ahead of Toby Gale. Senna Mounier drops down to P5 at the end of that one, but I suspect there may be a few words exchanged between Craigie and Senna after that race, because the lunge was there, the gap was open. Was it a bit too late, though?
It might have been, and yeah, I think that's one of those that Kenzo Craigie might look back on and go, that probably didn't need to happen in the context of the race. Not a problem though for Riley Cranham. Another race victory, his second qualifying heat win of 2024, and puts him tied on points, 0 points, with his teammate Harrison Mackie at the end of round 1.
Crucially, as well, in the intermediate classification, that is a fusion 1-2 with Harrison Mackie and Riley Cranham, both with 0 points. When they go out racing against each other a little bit later on today, that's going to be fireworks, I think, between those two, certainly, won't it? Well, there, the recovery job getting underway. Unfortunately, one of the retirements, Jesse Phillips, one of the other fusion drivers, unfortunately out of this race, and Jesse, multiple champion in the mini categories in his previous racing, has really struggled with the step up into juniors. Here's a look then at the classifications at the end of that one. It's Cranham from Green, Craigie from Gale, Malik from Backler, then Senna, Murray, Mulder, Bergenu, Maker, Johnson, the top 12. The biggest mover in that one, Jacob Bashler, 15 places gained in that. That is a superb effort.